everybody, and welcome to my very first writing vlog. And this writing vlog is going to be a little bit different than the other ones I have planned. This one's going to be a Q&A, mainly because I want to get your guys' questions answered and then go into more details about my writing experience, my publishing experience, and all that fun stuff in later vlogs. I'll also be talking in those vlogs about current things that are happening, current ideas that are brewing in my head about other books, and all of that. So stay tuned, those will be coming in the coming weeks. Awesome, so let's get into this. I asked you guys questions on the Twitterverse, so I shall be answering those for you right now. But before we do that, let me just start off by talking about my book that I have coming out on August 1st with Lindsay coming. So if you did not know, Lindsay is my co-author for Zenith, also my BFFL, and we decided to write a book together last year, and we did, and it is now being published as a physical copy of a book by Harlequin this August. It's up for pre-order if you want to get it the day of it comes out and don't have to go leave your house to go get it. But we co-wrote a book together, and it's been an amazing experience. So we first self-published it, and it ended up reaching #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, which, guys, thank you so much. This is your doing, and I love you guys, and I cannot express my thankfulness enough for you guys doing that for us. So I love you, and just thank you. So that happened, and then Lindsay and I decided to go out on submission to publishers with our book, and it got picked up by Harlequin, and now we're getting it published by then, and it is just so exciting. That's what's been happening. We're very excited and cannot wait to share this full novel with you guys because it has changed so freaking much since we first published it, and I'm so excited for all the changes. So that being said, let's get into the video. Off to the Twitterverse to see what you guys have asked me. So Amanda asked, do you have any tips for writing dialogue? So my tips for writing dialogue is something that has helped me in the past become a stronger writer, and that is picturing dialogue as a skeleton. Weird, I know, but it works. Just hold on. So let's say the dialogue goes somewhat like this. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I mean, you spoke in a different language. So I know that's kind of a stupid dialogue, but you know, it works. That is a skeleton of it. Then you fill it in with meat by talking about actions and just feelings of the characters within it. So the first sentence, what do you mean? She says, furrowing her brow. I forget the rest of that. But you get it, like adding in like, you know, details as to what they are doing and actions and all that fun stuff. I wish I did not forget that sentence. I mean, that whole entire dialogue scenario. This is why I'm not a teacher. But that's what I do, and I fill it in with the meat, and the meat is the actions, feelings, and emotions of the character. It really helps because you write a very bare bones dialogue and then you just fill it in. It's fun, and it's like a puzzle, and you just fill in the pieces. Sabrina asked when will we get to see the cover of Zenith, because as you guys know, we have a new cover for the hardcover edition. That's all I can say as of right now, but just a little teaser. The book cover is actually above my head over there, but you cannot see it because I cropped it out of the frame. But in the next writing vlogs, you guys will get to see it because I'll be putting it in the frame because promotion for my own book. I am shameless. Kate asks, have you ever had a conflict with Lindsay with writing characters or plot or anything? Lindsay and I are really good about talking about stuff in Zenith because when one of us wants one thing with a character per se and the other person wants something else with that character, we compromise on it. We say, okay, we can have this, then we can take out this, and then add in this, and there we go. Everybody's happy. Because when you are writing with somebody, Lindsay and I have been friends for 3 years, even before we started writing this book, so we already knew that we had a very strong friendship, and that's what really helped when it came to talking about more difficult stuff and things that could lead to fights but didn't because we had that strong friendship beforehand. So we're not afraid to tell each other what we think. Whenever we have a disagreement, we just talk it through, and that's what's most important is when you're writing with somebody, whether it is in a job or just being a friend with them, you don't want to keep your mouth shut when you think something opposite because that'll end up to more conflict than there needs to be, and then it'll just explode and be very messy. So in my own personal opinion, I say just talk about it. Lindsay and I have had a great business partnership just as much as we had a great friendship, and it's worked out for us, and I hope that it'll work out for you guys if you choose to co-author. Just make sure you're with the right person. Tia asks, is it difficult to write about stuff that doesn't happen in other books? Beth Rev said something really interesting on a panel I was with her on this summer at LeviosaCon. She says, no idea is original anymore because there's always similarities in books nowadays that you can compare to other books that were published previously and whatnot. So no idea is original, but you make it your own, and that's what I have to say about it, and I really believe Beth Rev is on this. So Everything Books asks, what is each of your characters' favorite accessory to have with them? So some of our characters have some really cool weapons, and so I almost said Lindsay. Lindsay's not one of the characters, but she could be. Andy is our main character, and she has these cuffs. Way back when Andy was exiled from planet Arcadia, she got very badly burned, and she did not have the medical treatment that should have been available to her and could have been available to her if she wasn't on the run as a fugitive, and so that ended up scarring her arms from here to here on each arm. Because of that, she got these cuffs put on as compression cuffs to, you know, hold in the pain and to keep her skin together pretty much. And she also has 2 blades, katanas, that actually are electric, and it's really cool. And the other characters have some really cool gizmos and gadgets with them as well, but you'll have to read the book to find out what those are. Darcy asks, do I have a writing schedule? I do have a writing schedule because me working from home as a writer and as a YouTuber, I know people are probably like, really, Sasha? Really? Are those your jobs? No, they are, and I'm very grateful for that. And so having those as my jobs, I have to have a very strict schedule. So I wake up at 8, take my dog out, eat some breakfast, go to Starbucks, get some coffee, and sit down and work. And so I usually do videos first, and then in the evening I write. And that can sometimes change a lot when it comes to edits and deadlines and all that. So my schedule does change and fluctuate during deadline time, but it's pretty much that, and it's worked really well for me. But when I start going back to school, I'm gonna have to squeeze that in, and it'll be very different. But as of right now, that's my schedule, and I'll let you guys know when it changes. Jacqueline asks, is there a certain amount of words that you and Lindsay had to reach when writing Zenith? So we first had the goal of 85,000 words. We surpassed that by 20,000 when we turned in the book, and now it is at almost 140,000 words. We just kept on writing. The story does not have to end when the word count ends. And so if you have more to write, just write, and you know, that's all you need to do. But I do think that it's smart to have a goal for word count so you can surpass that or reach it, because otherwise you will have a shorter book than you originally wanted, and that could be a bummer. So I say just keep on adding, keep on plotting when you're writing the book, and then you may get a larger book from that. Lindsay and I definitely did. And this goes into Bree's question, and she asks, is there a certain word count you want to hit every day? So when Lindsay and I are drafting / writing a book, we want to usually hit 2,000 words per person a day, and we usually exceed that. So it's pretty much 4,000 to 6,000 words per day with us combined. Viviana asks, how did you write when you did not live near Lindsay, and how do you do it now that you're in Texas? So as you guys know, I moved to Texas so Lindsay and I could write together, because we noticed that we kept on flying back and forth to Texas to Chicago a lot just to get this book done, and we worked better together than we did apart. And me as a single lady, I was like, hey, you know what, I'm not going to school right now, I'm just living at home, so I'll move down to Texas so we could write and be more productive together. And it's really worked out. So when we did not live near each other, either one of us flew up there for a weekend and the other one flew down here for a weekend. Luckily the flights are cheap. That's what we did when we were on deadline. But when we weren't on deadline, we just went on Skype and wrote when we were on Skype, and then usually we just texted each other when we weren't on Skype. Usually every morning we got on Skype and talked about what we would write that day, and then get off Skype and then write it, and then get on Skype later on that day and talk about what we did. So that's what we did when we were apart. Now that we're together, we usually get together 2 to 3 times a week and just write, plot, and do all that fun stuff. But since I moved to Texas, we've been editing. So we usually spend like 4 to 5 days together, just all day editing, and it has been so much fun, but very stressful because we have a very tight deadline. But luckily that deadline has passed, and we're just waiting for the next one. Abs asks, should we expect a very swoony guy in Zenith? You shall. Bravey asks, do you ever lose motivation to write? Usually when I lose motivation, I usually talk to Lindsay about it, and we kind of re-motivate each other with what we want to put down on the page. But honestly, with this book, I love it so much, and I always feel motivated with it because it's something that I'm always eager to write more about. And yes, there's been points where I don't feel confident about myself as a writer. Sometimes I feel like I could do better, you know, and it makes me feel a lack of motivation in the sense that, you know I can do better, and then I just take a break and I go back to the scene and I feel better about it, because I'm really hard on myself as a writer. I'm very hard. I used to think that I wasn't able to write because I had dyslexia, and it was really difficult for me. But I learned throughout my time battling my dyslexia that, you know, it doesn't prohibit me from becoming who I want to be. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. And so it's mainly me warring against my own mind, saying you're not good enough, you're not good enough. But then I just need to take a step back, take a breather, pet my dog, puppy therapy, and then come back to it and really just read it over with a new set of eyes. So that's how I gain my motivation back. I just take a step back and then go back into it. So yes guys, it looks like that is the end of this Q&A, but stay tuned for the next writing vlog where I'm going to be talking about my journey to becoming an author, and I cannot wait to share that information with you guys and then talk about what is happening currently with Zenith and all that fun stuff. So thank you guys so much for asking all the questions. If you want to go check out Zenith, it is up for pre-order right now, so links are down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!